In a quiet corner of Chicago, nestled in the Lincoln Park neighborhood, lived Emma, a 28-year-old woman whose life, at first glance, seemed idyllic. The area was renowned for its towering trees, charming boutiques, and friendly neighbors, all contributing to an atmosphere of peace and tranquility. Many believed fate had been kind to Emma. She had a loving husband, a comfortable apartment, and a stable job at a local bookstore. Yet, despite all the outward signs of well-being, deep down, she felt profoundly unhappy. Every morning, Emma awoke with a heavy heart, burdened by the weight of the past. A year ago, she had made a rash decision, marrying Leo, a 32-year-old man who was, without a doubt, a good person. Leo was kind, gentle, and always wore a smile, but regrettably, Emma did not love him. Her decision to marry was driven not by affection, but rather by desperation and a desire to forget her former love, Alex, who had caused her deep emotional pain. In her eagerness to turn that page of her life, she impulsively accepted Leo's proposal. At the time, Emma naively believed that marriage would be a healing balm, that love would surely blossom with time. But as the days passed, the longed-for feeling never materialized. Now she found herself trapped by her own choice, suffering from the realization of her mistake. Leo did everything in his power to shower Emma with care and attention, striving to make her happy. Every Friday, he brought her a bouquet of fresh flowers, as if trying to brighten her mundane days. He took over dinner preparations when she felt tired and worn out. He wrote her touching notes and subtly slipped them into her lunch bag, hoping to lift her spirits. He affectionately called her "my sunshine" and always kissed her forehead tenderly. Many women would consider themselves lucky to have such a caring and loving husband. But this only made Emma sadder, for she couldn't reciprocate his feelings, couldn't give him what he so deeply desired. One evening, sitting on their balcony under a bright, starry sky in the warm summer air, Leo looked at Emma and said, "I know you don't love me yet, but I believe you will, in time. I'm willing to wait as long as it takes. My love is enough for both of us." These words pierced Emma's heart, bringing forth a flood of tears. Leo was full of hope, but there was no room for optimism in her soul. She felt like a liar, deceiving him every day. She forced a smile when she wanted to cry, said thank you when she felt nothing, and lived a life that wasn't hers. Emma's mother once told her, "Love can grow over time. Marriage isn't always about passionate intensity and strong emotions. It's primarily about kindness, respect, and patience." Emma tried to believe these words, tried to be patient and give their relationship a chance. But with each passing day, she felt more like a stranger in her own life, as if trapped in a gilded cage. One Friday evening, Leo prepared a special dinner for Emma. He cooked her favorite dish, chicken pasta with garlic bread. He lit candles, creating a romantic ambiance, put on soft music, and even wore a blue shirt, knowing she liked it. He said, "This is all for you, Emma. You are everything to me." Emma looked at him and managed a weak smile, murmuring, "Thank you." But inside, she felt only a gaping emptiness. She couldn't enjoy the food, the music, or his attention. It felt as though she was playing a role in someone else's play, not living her own life. After dinner, Leo took Emma's hand and suggested a walk. They headed to a small park near their home. It was there, under the shade of an old oak tree that Leo had proposed to her a year ago. He smiled and said, "Remember this place? I told you I would love you forever." Emma looked at the tree, then at him. She wanted to scream, "I don't love you, Leo!" But she couldn't utter the words. She didn't want to hurt him. He looked so happy, so full of love, and she felt like the most terrible person in the world. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling. She reflected on her life, her choices, and her broken heart. She asked herself, will I ever feel happy again? The next morning, her best friend, Na, called her. She asked with concern, "Emma, your voice sounds tired. Are you okay?" Emma wanted to say yes, but couldn't lie. She confessed the truth. I don't love Leo. I married him because I wanted to forget someone else, but now I feel trapped. I'm sad every day. Na was silent for a moment, processing what she'd heard. Then she said, maybe you need some time alone. Perhaps time apart will help you understand your feelings better. Emma shook her head, dismissing the possibility. It's not about time, Na. My heart just doesn't feel anything for him. Later that day, Emma sat next to Leo on the sofa, gathering her courage for a serious conversation. Leo, I need to talk to you, she began, but before she could continue, he interrupted her. I know what you're going to say, he quickly said. Please don't give up, Emma. I still believe we can make this work. Hope rekindled in his eyes, making Emma's heart even heavier. She didn't want to crush his dreams, but she knew she couldn't give him what he yearned for. She felt exhausted, as if carrying an unbearable burden every day. One Sunday, Leo asked Emma a question that shocked her. Emma, do you want a baby? I think it would bring us closer, he said, his voice full of hope. Emma froze, unsure how to respond. The thought of having a child with a man she didn't love filled her with dread. She looked down at her hands and quietly said, I'm not ready, Leo. He slowly nodded, accepting her answer. He looked disappointed but didn't press the issue. This only made Emma feel worse. He was always gentle and kind while she was always silent and distant. During those days, she felt detached from everything happening around her. One night, she wrote in her diary, full of despair, I feel like I'm drowning in this marriage. Leo is a wonderful man, but I cannot be the wife he deserves. In those lines, a haunting admission echoed, sometimes I want to run away, but fear paralyzes me. What will others say? Will they call me selfish? Will they accuse me of not trying hard enough? One evening, packing a small suitcase, she resolved to escape. Looking at the sleeping Leo, she saw peace and happiness on his face. Standing at the door with the suitcase in her hand, she couldn't cross the threshold. Putting the suitcase down, she sank to the floor and wept silently. In the morning, Leo made her coffee, gently kissing her cheek and saying, Good morning, my love. I believe in us. These words wounded her heart again, making her want to scream, Stop hoping! But she remained silent once more. Walking to the window, she watched the lively street, a dog playing, children laughing, the sun warming the world with its light. Life around her buzzed, but within her, stagnation reigned. She didn't know what to do, how to change her life, knowing only one thing. It couldn't continue like this. The days dragged on endlessly. Each morning began with the usual ritual, making breakfast, working at the bookstore, returning home, and forcing a smile for Leo. But inside, she was drained, tired of the endless pretense. One Saturday, Leo unexpectedly returned home, holding 2 movie tickets. Emma, let's go out tonight. Just you and me, I want to see your smile again, he suggested. She merely nodded in agreement, unwilling to say no. That evening, she put on a pretty dress and lipstick, creating the illusion of happiness she didn't feel. At the movie theater, Leo held her hand, laughed at the funny parts of the film, and often glanced at her, hoping to see joy. She tried to smile, but her smile felt fake. After the movie, he asked, That was fun, right? She replied, Yes, it was nice. But deep down, she felt only coldness. Back home, Leo made tea for both of them. They settled on the sofa and he hugged her, whispering, I missed you, Emma. She looked away, unable to find words to respond. It was unbearable to realize that every day she was hurting him with her silence. The next morning, she met her friend Na at a cafe by the lake. The sky was overcast and the wind was chilly. Na, looking at her with concern, remarked, Emma, you don't look well. You look tired. She sighed deeply and once again shared her worries. Nah, I feel trapped in a box with no way out. I want to run, but I'm scared. Leo is a good person. Everyone will judge me if I hurt him. Na took her hand and said, No one else can live your life for you. If you're unhappy, you have to be honest. Leo deserves the truth, and so do you. Her words touched her, but didn't relieve her tormenting fear. What if she hurt Leo too much? What if she regretted her decision? That night, sitting by the window, she watched the quiet street, illuminated by lights from neighboring houses. She wondered if the people living in those houses were happy, or if they, like her, were just pretending. Leo came and sat beside her, looking at her with tenderness in his eyes. "Emma, you've been so quiet lately. I feel like I'm losing you," he said. She wanted to tell him the truth, but she couldn't. Instead, she replied, "I'm just tired. Work has been busy." He said nothing, just nodded, and she saw sadness in his eyes. The following week, Leo suggested a short trip. "Let's go to Lake Geneva for the weekend, just you and me. Maybe some fresh air will help," he said. She didn't want to go, but again, she agreed, not wanting to hurt him. After a 2-hour drive, they arrived. The lake was calm, the trees green, and the sky blue. The beauty of nature didn't touch her heart. Leo had booked a small lakeside hotel. In the evening, they walked along the promenade. He took pictures and laughed. Taking her hand, he asked, "It's nice, isn't it?" She didn't know what to say. Her heart was silent. It felt as if she was walking in a dream that wasn't hers. That night in the hotel, Leo handed her a small box. Opening it, she saw a necklace with a tiny heart. "This is for you. My heart belongs to you," he said. Looking at the necklace, she felt tears welling up in her eyes, not from happiness, but from the realization that she didn't deserve his love. "Thank you," she whispered. Later, when Leo had fallen asleep, she sat on the floor by the bed, trying to stifle her sobs. She just sat and reflected, remembering the day they met, Leo's kindness after Alex left, his support, his ability to listen and bring a smile back to her face. But she had never loved him. She married Leo when she was broken. Not thinking clearly, she thought being with a good man was better than being alone. But now she understood that a life without love was even worse. They say a life without love is like existing in a colorless world. Upon returning to Chicago, the protagonist began writing letters to herself, carefully hiding her thoughts from prying eyes. In these personal messages, she poured out her feelings and experiences. In one letter, she wrote to herself, trying to justify her actions. "Emma, you are not a villain. You stumbled, but not with malicious intent. You sought happiness, but now you need to find the courage to discover your truth." In another letter, she addressed her situation with Leo, noting, "Leo is not your adversary. He is a wonderful man, but he is not your sanctuary. You cannot give him what he needs." These letters became a form of self-analysis, helping her sort through her feelings and understand the root of her emotional pain. A few days later, Na, Emma's close friend, called her, noticing a change in her voice. "Emma, you sound much more confident." Emma replied, "I'm seriously thinking about telling Leo the whole truth. He deserves to know." Na supported her decision, expressing her pride. That same evening, after making tea, Emma asked Leo to join her. Feeling intensely nervous, she noticed her hands trembling. "I need to tell you something," she began, but before she could continue, he interrupted her. "I know what you're going to say," he quickly said. Leo looked at her intently, indicating he was ready to listen. Taking a deep breath, Emma began. "Leo, I care about you. You're a good person, but I don't love you. I've never felt that way about you. I married you because I was desperate. I hoped love would come with time, but it didn't." Leo remained silent, unmoving. No emotion showed on his face, but his eyes were moist. Quietly, he said, "I knew it, Emma. I saw it in your eyes. I just didn't want to believe it." Tears streamed down Emma's cheeks. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I never meant to hurt you." Leo nodded in response. "I love you, Emma, very much, but I can't be the only one trying to keep our relationship. If your heart isn't mine, I can't hold you." His words, full of understanding and compassion, broke Emma's heart. Even when faced with the truth, even in pain, Leo remained kind and generous. They sat in silence for a long time without reproaches or accusations. Only sadness hung in the air, a real, quiet sadness. That night, Emma slept on the sofa. Staring at the wall, she whispered to herself, "I told the truth. Finally, I spoke the truth." She didn't know what lay ahead. She didn't know if she would leave soon or if they would have another conversation, but she felt relief. For the first time in a long time, she felt she could breathe freely. The following days passed in silence. Emma and Leo continued to live in the same apartment, but barely spoke to each other. They both needed time to reflect. Emma moved into the small guest room, and Leo remained alone in their bedroom. In the mornings, Leo still made coffee and left a cup for Emma on the kitchen table, but now there were no notes, no smiles, just silence. Emma went to work, trying to distract herself from her sad thoughts. She helped customers at the bookstore, arranged books on shelves, and answered questions. But her heart wasn't in her work. Her thoughts constantly returned to what would happen next. One afternoon, Na came to visit her at the store. Hugging Emma, she asked, "How are you?" "I'm okay," Emma replied. "It's hard, but I feel more honest." Na smiled. "That's a good start." "What are you planning to do next?" "I think I need to move out," Emma said quietly. "It's time." That same evening, Emma told Leo of her intention to move out. He didn't seem surprised. "Do you have somewhere to go?" he asked. "Yes," Emma replied. Na offered me her guest room for the time being. Leo nodded. After a brief silence, he said, "Emma, I'm not angry with you. I'm just sad, but maybe this is the right decision." Emma felt tears welling up in her eyes. "I never wanted to break your heart," she said. Leo smiled slightly. "You didn't break my heart, Emma. I gave it to you willingly, even if you couldn't keep it. I don't regret loving you." His words were full of kindness, but they pained Emma's heart. The next morning, she packed her belongings and a few books. She took only the essentials. The apartment seemed overflowing with memories, though they had only lived there for a year. She glanced at the small things around them, his coffee mug, their wedding photo, the blanket they used when watching movies. Leo helped her carry her bag to the door and said, "If you need anything, call me." Emma nodded in agreement. "Thank you for everything, Leo. You were always kind to me." He looked at her one last time and said, "Take care of yourself, Emma." Then she left the apartment. Na was waiting for her in her car. She smiled and opened the door. "Let's go," she said. Emma sat beside her, and they drove away. She didn't look back. In the guest room at Na's apartment, Emma sat and cried, not because she missed Leo, but because she was overwhelmed with feelings, guilt, sadness, fear, but also a little hope. For the first time in her life, she had made a choice guided by her own desires. She had spoken the truth. She had taken a step forward. The days passed slowly. Emma stayed with Na for several weeks. She helped her cook, wash dishes, and sometimes watched movies with her. Na never forced her to talk about her problems, but was always there when she needed to cry. Emma started taking long walks along the lake. She watched people walking their dogs, riding bikes, and drinking coffee on benches. She enjoyed observing the flow of life. It helped her find inner peace. Sometimes solitude found comfort in a cup of fragrant tea, warming not just the body, but also the soul. One day, in a cozy cafe, her gaze caught an advertisement for creative writing classes at the local community center. An inexplicable inner urge prompted her to try. She signed up and found herself in a small group of 8 people, where participants shared their stories, reading them aloud. Initially reserved and shy, she gradually began to open up, finding joy in expressing her feelings, memories, and hopes on paper. One evening, after class, a phrase was born in her notebook. "I lost love before I had a chance to find it, but now I am finding myself." This thought brought a quiet smile to her face. A few weeks later, a message arrived on her phone from Leo. "Hi, Emma," he wrote. Just wanted to check in and see how you are. I'm also trying to make good use of my time and signed up for cooking classes. It helps me distract myself. No need to reply, just wanted you to know I'm doing okay. After a moment of thought, she replied, "Hi, Leo. Thanks for the message. Glad to hear you're doing well. I'm taking writing classes too. It's also helping me. Wishing you peace and happiness." After that, they didn't communicate again, but this farewell left a pleasant sense of closure. Time passed, months turned into seasons. She found a small studio apartment not far from the bookstore. Though not luxurious, it was her own space. The walls were painted a soft yellow, flowers bloomed on the windowsill, and a painting of a tranquil lake hung on the wall. Every morning, she brewed her own coffee, savoring the moment by the window, watching life unfold outside. Sometimes a feeling of loneliness washed over her, but along with it came a sense of freedom. Thoughts of Leo lingered. She sincerely hoped he would meet someone who could truly love him, for he deserved it. He had given his love with an open heart, and she hoped someone could reciprocate it. One day, while sorting through old things, she came across the heart necklace Leo had given her at the lake. After looking at it for a long time, she placed the jewelry in a small box and wrote a note. "Thank you for your kindness. I couldn't wear it, but I will never forget." She asked Na to deliver the box to Leo. The seasons changed, and with them, so did she. A smile appeared more often on her face. She made new friends in her writing classes, and laughter returned to her life. She began to reclaim herself. One night, looking in the mirror, she saw a woman with tired eyes but a soft, kind smile. A woman who was once lost but was now confidently walking her own path. "This isn't a perfect story, but it's my story," she whispered to herself. "I'm still learning, still growing. I don't know what the future holds, but now I know one thing: never marry for the wrong reason and never silence your heart." If anyone feels the way she once did, she would want to say that you are not alone. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to start over. Be honest with yourself. Be brave, for your heart knows the truth. She thanks you for listening to her story. It may not have many smiles or happy endings, but it is real. And sometimes, being real is the bravest thing we can do.